Hello, welcome to Market Avenue. Proud to the presentation of the 2022 budget. The issue that was on the front burner was the benchmark values. And to the poultry farmers, they were expecting that they're going to experience a relief in that regard to ensure that the $200 million or $400 million used in exporting poultry products is removed for them to also contribute to the national quota. But this had not been done. To the rice farmers, they're excited because the importation of rice from abroad is going to be expensive, and therefore they're hoping that that is going to ensure that Ghanaians will tilt towards the Ghanaian rice and buy more of that to show up production, at the same time engender growth to create more jobs for the youth in that sector of the economy. We're going to look at that today with Mr. Michael Nyako Ampem, who is a poultry farmer, and then the convener of the Ghana Rice Millers Association, Mr. Yawodupoku, via phone. But before we do that, let's take the base language for today, and then we'll go to the stock market. Hello, welcome back. 24 hours after the 2022 budget presentation, the stock market is still experiencing some bullishness, but today in not so much significant manner as we saw yesterday. Let's start what's happening in the market.
Yes, Edward, as you said, 24 hours after, the only equity that registered a price change was in the financial sector, and that was Cal Bank. It went up by a PESWA, just a PESWA. But financial stocks went up by 1.09 points, and the composite index went up by just 0.6 points. Actually, yesterday, the day it was being read, it rather went down, so I think this is an improvement. The year-to-date change was 54.54%. We are still over the 50% mark and hoping to reach 60 by the end of this year. In the financial stocks, the year-to-date change is 16.55%. In terms of trading for today, the equities that were traded in terms of volume were 218,974 shares, and they were valued at 297 cedis, and the market capitalization is 65.69 billion cedis. The year-to-date change, as I said, was 54.54%. The equity that registered a price change is Cal Bank, and it just gained a PESWA. But in terms of volumes of trade today, equities that were traded in BOP 40,166. We have Cal Bank at 160,000. EGL at 3,727. We have ETI at 10,879. GCB at 3,776, GOIL at 7,840, and MTN Ghana, which normally drives the park, is today just around 1,965, and Republic Bank Ghana is 5,000, and I think Societe Generale Ghana is also 1,621. So the only equity that was able to push the mark today was Cal Bank.
All right. Thank you very much, Esther Edu, for the stock market analysis. We'll go for shopping. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mr. Yawodupoku, convener of Rice Farmers Association, who are jubilating with these people. They are jubilating because the benchmark values that were on rice importation had been removed. In other words, if you import rice now, you're going to pay full price in terms of the taxes to the Ghana government so that local production can show up. So we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Market Avenue. Proponents of these removal of benchmark values on rice production say that Ghana must be rice sufficient hopefully by 2023-2024. And that's how come these bill values has been removed. So let's talk to the convener of Rice Millers, convener of Ghana Rice Millers Association, Mr. Yadupuku, to find out more how this is going to show up rice production and also tilt sales towards the Ghana rice that is being produced, and also make sure that jobs are created in that sector. Mr. Yadupuku, you're welcome.
Sir.
Great to have you once again. We are looking at being sufficient when it comes to rice production by 2023-2024. How is the removal of the benchmark values, which was about 50%, going to ensure that we scale up rice production?
Good evening to your viewers and good evening to you all. This is something we have fought over the time, and we are happy to say the government listened to our voice. It is not a victory for us, it is a victory for the country as a whole, because the 50% that we got reversed is going to be for the government's revenue collection, so that it will be good for all of us. Now, we hope that our brothers will understand this, the Guta guys will understand this, that it's not only for us, but for all of us.
Now, how certain are we that we have the capacity to meet the demand of this country when we try to make import very expensive?
As I explained one time on your show, we have the capacity to produce. What we need to do is to sensitize the populace to accept and patronize Ghana rice. That is number one. And then get the government to invest in the production of rice in Ghana, because we have the potential to feed the country within the next couple of years and even export. But we will need to put in a little effort, that is in the form of investment. That is what we are currently engaging the government in, so that rice do not become an exorbitant commodity in the system, but something that every home can afford to buy. And then we will all be proud that this is a made in Ghana thing. We all did it together.
Now, we all did it together. How are you going to engage the Guta guys to not let's say if there's a Ghana rice there, they will not patronize it and go for the foreign one, because they are thinking that you might have stabbed them at the back, because they were also lobbying that the 50% benchmark value will not be reduced, or will not be removed.
We are hoping that we can bring in the Guta guys, because they are traders. We are processors and farmers. So we need the trading wing to be able to complement each other, and then we have a very good system going. Without them, our rice will not be sold, and it will be difficult for us to enter the local market. So we need them as much as possible. So what we are saying is that instead of changing Ghana cedi into hard currency and taking it out there to go by creating employment in other jurisdictions, let us how to create the employment here at home. And then let us also patronize the rice that is grown here. Because what is interesting is that we are currently growing jasmine rice, which comes from Thailand and Vietnam, and we are growing the Agra rice, which is also another variety of a fragrant rice. So we have all the ingredients here. And the point is that our rice is more nutritious than what is brought into the system. So we hope that Guta will relent and start engaging us so that we will turn our attention to them. And then within the next couple of years, we will see Ghana-made brands in the market all over the place. This is our prayers.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yadupoku, for your thoughts. We'll come back to you, especially to look at the harvesting of rice up north, because we hear there's so much rice, but what is lacking is the combined harvesters. Thank you. Now we come to the studio and to talk to Mr. Michael Nyakuampim, who is a poultry farmer. Mr. Nyaku, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Once again, great. Yeah. Now, you were also lobbying, your group were also lobbying that poultry farmers were lobbying that the poultry products that we import, it should not be given the 50% exemption or reduction discount. But here we are, your product or your commodity was not captured in this season's budget, 2022 budget. What came to mind when you heard the story?
A little disappointed, or I must be frank, disappointed. But I want to take it from where Mr. Dupuku left off. For Guta, we should also tell them that we are not, nobody is collapsing their businesses, but what the interest, and it's linked to poultry, the interest is that we want to create jobs locally. We want to make sure wealth is created in the country, all the taxes and the revenues that we need stay in the country, because it is when they change the money into foreign exchange that we have these forex problems. So what we're saying is that the people they've employed, they engage, when they begin to buy the locally produced materials or products and sell, now that money will come back to them. Their people will still be in employment. So all we are saying is that they should have a little change in focus. So that when they focus on the locally produced ones and increase their purchase locally, then we'll all be good for it. So yes, we are disappointed because as part of it, we're hoping that we will also have that 50% scraped off, so that the subsidies that kind of enjoy would also they will also operate now on a even playing field, all of us, because we have some challenges, structural challenges in terms of raw material prices and markets for our products and all of that. We have all those structural challenges. So if that had been scraped off, then we would have been competing competitively with them, and people would have tend to eat the locally produced chicken because of that the subsidy in their country and the 50% that is there, they tend to have their products a bit cheaper than what we produce. So people tend to say that the locally produced chicken is expensive, but you and I know that when these things are on indirect subsidies are given to your competitor and you don't have it, then you stand a chance of fighting with your hands tied behind you, and you are fighting somebody whose hands are not tied. So that's the challenge we have.
Do you have knowledge about how much the imported poultry products, maybe full chicken cost, and that of the local one?
When you go there, it's about the same price that we sell here, or even more expensive. So you tend to ask yourself, where is the problem? Because if in the shops they are selling almost the same thing, assuming they sell even a chicken for even maybe $10 or $12, then you have that challenge. However, if you have all those things and the subsidy there for them, in there for them, and we don't have it here, then we have that challenge. Because if the day-old chick is about the same price we buy it there, and the cost of labor is higher there than here. Then and then when they slaughter, you sea freight it and then bring it here, store it, distribution costs and all of that. You add it, and it's still cheaper than what we produce here. Then you know that there's a problem somewhere. That is why we're also advocating that this 50% benchmark should affect our industry. But if it had affected us, if we had gotten that, what will happen is that the workers there will not be laid off. All is that they just replace the importation there with the locally produced one. So the workers will still be in business.
But do we have capacity to meet the demand?
Yes. Anytime capacity comes up, I say that the problem with our capacity is not because we can't produce. It's because there's no market.
Okay.
The price differentials. So it takes about 6 weeks or 7 weeks to get broiler to the market. So if we have a policy change as the 50% benchmark that we're hoping to get, if we had gotten it, then all we needed was about 8 weeks to bring birds to the market. And then you know that a demand is coming. Once a demand is coming, you know that
you prepare for that.
You prepare for it. It's just like the maize farmers, when the prices shot up, they are producing more because they know that their real cost of production is not as the selling price. So they are making a windfall. And so they'll fill the gap till the point where all of it is created. But in our case, if we are given the opportunity, we will also fill it. So capacity is not our problem. It's just the policy that we're crying for, that we will have that policy, and if we had gotten that policy, then the gap would have filled it. Let me say that government is, through the budgets, proposed the reignition of the broiler revitalization.
Okay.
So I think, and I want to believe that in the next budget, we may be added, because once the broiler revitalization program kicks in, now you have a lot more birds locally. So if you have more birds locally, where are you going to send them? If you don't create the market to receive it. So I'm sure government doesn't want to be accused of sudden shortage, so they are being careful about it. But we think that we want to believe that if they are bold to do it, we are capable to fill the gap.
It's not because that your group, poultry farmers, were not loud in terms of your advocacy, because we heard a lot from GOTA, we heard from the AGI, we heard from the rice producers. We didn't hear much from the poultry producers of poultry farmers.
Probably we were not so much on the media front, but I can tell you I was part of delegations that met at the ministry with the minister. I was part of the delegation that met with Parliamentary Select Committee on Food and Agriculture and all the bodies that matter in the scheme of things. So probably the only one out was finance. We didn't meet finance because we only meet finance through our sector ministry. So we believe that we met finance as well. But probably, like you're saying, we will admit maybe we didn't make too much noise because we're hoping that it was clear to everybody, the interactions that we had, that it was clear to everybody that this is a decision that has to be taken. Be it as it may, it was not done, and now we'll regroup, look at how
we strategize
and see how we can go at it, and probably consult our brothers from the rice millers how they did it, because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need to look at what they did, take it, polish it, and run with it.
Now, people out there are waiting for Christmas, and to Christmas, a lot of Ghanaians there is about chicken.
Yeah.
Do we have what it takes to meet the needs of Ghanaians, not only in quantity, the quality, and the pricing?
Quality-wise, there's no problem. We had a program, and some people have said that the imported chicken were more properly prepared than the locally produced one. So while the person was talking, we quietly asked people to go to one of the shops, big shops and to purchase the imported one and the locally produced one. It's not to denigrate anybody, but when it was opened up, you could see that the locally produced one, the intestines, the internal organs had been properly cleaned. So the one was talking, we just asked him to open it up. He opened it up himself, so eventually he had to cut short his presentation because what we had presented defeated his presentation. Okay, so the quality is not a problem. I mean, I produce here. If I don't produce well, you know my house, you know where you can come back to me. Unlike the other one that is coming from somewhere. Of course, you know the importer who brought it, so you can also go there. But what we are saying is that if we're able to do this, it's not just the ripple effect. The value chain is so huge. The maize farmers depend on us. Even the rice millers, their rice brand. We are the consumers, final consumers of their rice brand. The wheat brand, when the flour mills produce the wheat brand, we consume it. The soya, we consume it. The copra, we consume it. The fish meal, we consume it. So if you touch poultry, the value chain, the chain reaction, the ripple effect is so huge. It's so huge that we believe that it should be looked at again. Maybe when you get to the supplementary budget, we can be added, but we are pleading, we are pushing, we are asking that, like it said in Proverbs, Matthew 7:7, is it ask. So we are asking, we are knocking, we are seeking that the ears of the powers that be will be inclined towards our request, and then we will be able to create this chain, because once we increase the production of poultry, naturally the maize farmers will have a market, and if you are doing 10 acres, you do 30 acres. If somebody is doing 1,000 acres, you do 3,000 acres. So we believe that if they look at us favorably, then they will see the change in the economy, because employment will go, unemployment will go down, or employment will go up, and then the truckers, the warehouses, the cold room, the hotels and the restaurants, all the people there, they'll be engaged. If I want to enumerate the industry
benefits,
yeah, exactly. It's so huge. Look at the eggs. How many eggs? How many parties or weddings will go on without a cake? And one of the main ingredients for cake is eggs. And then at the party, at the wedding, at the funeral, there'll be chicken. So wherever you turn, the industry is part of whatever we do. If you're crying, it's part of us.
So from cradle to the grave,
yes,
the chicken is there.
The chicken is there.
Wonderful.
We are in an industry that must be looked at critically. But we are not asking for money to be given to us, because the people in the industry are ready to invest their money. All we are asking for is a level playing field and a policy that will help us have the market to do it. Because if you produce and nobody's buying, then there's a problem. And if you produce and your competitor is getting his at a price much lower than yours, through probably subsidies from their countries, then you have a problem.
But what I'm saying, if you produce locally and you cannot get market in Ghana, you can go beyond the boundaries of Ghana, because you're not talking about an African continental free trade area.
Yes, that is it. However, the problem there is not because we cannot do it, but the capacity in terms of finance, because we haven't built strength locally. Like the oak tree, if the root is not deep enough, and any slight wind, the tree will fall. So if we're able to build our capacities locally, so say somebody who is producing 100,000 beds, and it's not just one person. You have about 20 people, 50 people, 100 people producing 1 million beds, producing 2 million beds, turnover 2 million beds per month. I mean, if you take Sadia, is BRM from Brazil. They do about 200 million dollars per month or so.
Wow.
You know, so until and that is why they have excess capacity
to export it.
And that's why they're able to bring here. So until we get to that, we build ourselves locally, develop it, and have that strength. And once we have that strength, we know that we can now begin to attack the countries in West Africa and probably go beyond West Africa.
Wonderful. I think the conversation is still fresh. We still have to continue talking. Like you said, perhaps maybe in supplementary budget, they have to take a closer look at the needs of the poultry farmers.
Yeah.
So this is how we wrap up today on Market Avenue. We'll be looking at how poultry farmers and rice farmers are reacting to the benchmark values that were on some commodities that had been removed. Unfortunately, the poultry farmers are saying that theirs were not captured in the 2022 budget. But rice millers are hailing the budget. So it's like once others are crying, others are rejoicing. But that's how economic management sometimes it is, because you need to balance the equation. But for now, this is how we'll wrap up for today. My name is Edward Nyaku. God willing, we'll come your way tomorrow. Shalom.